Put a little center dot right there. I paint this one here straight over the top. There's absolutely no way to tell that there was a previous hole here. What's going on, guys? I'm Bill and welcome to Bill's How-To. Today we're going to be testing out a new product on the market that allows you to patch a hole in the wall by simply applying this little adhesive sticker here and painting over the top. This is either going to be the best $10 you've ever spent, or I'm about to save you guys $10. Let's get straight into it, guys. Let's do this. Alright guys, so we're going to be testing out this new product here from DAP. It's called the Eclipse Rapid Wall Repair Patch. So many words in one sentence. This is the product right here. It's now available in Australia. It's an American product and they sell it at Bunnings Warehouse. So it's $10 for one patch. It says it's a 4-inch patch, which means we're going to get a coverage of 2 inches in terms of the hole. So if you've got a hole size that's up to 2 inches, apparently this patch here, you stick it straight over the top, followed by 3 coats of paint, and apparently that is it. So we're going to be testing it out. I'm a little bit skeptical with this product here. I've seen patches in the past where you even have to patch over the top, but they protrude too much, and then you have to feather it out and build it all out, and it's not very easy to work with. This one here seems too good to be true, so we're going to be testing it out. I've got a large piece of drywall here, or plasterboard, gyprock, whatever you want to call it, sheetrock, that we're going to be testing this out on. I'm going to put a hole straight in the middle, and the reason why I've got such a large piece here is the easiest way to see any imperfections in a wall is to look at it side on under some light. So we've got our light here. I'm going to be able to look at this side on. You're going to see any bumps, lumps, imperfections, anything that's going to stand out. We're going to be able to see that side on. Now this product here says that you basically just have to clean the surface, which is nice and simple. I don't mean scrubbing it. Getting rid of any high spots, anything that's loose or flaking, just push that in or remove it. And then you simply just apply this patch over the top, put on 1 coat of paint, wait for that to dry, peel off a sticker, which you guys will see in a second, and then followed by 2 coats of paint. Now they also mention here applying a primer is going to allow for better adhesion and faster drying time. Now in terms of faster drying time, I don't think that's going to really be an issue here. First coat of paint always dries different to your following coats because your first coat of paint absorbs into it, seals it, locks everything in. Your following coats will all dry the same. So in terms of adhesion, I'm a little bit skeptical once again. So if we did take on board what they recommend, which is 1 coat of primer, then 2 coats of regular paint, the biggest issue for adhesion here, I would say, is going to be on the actual plastic film itself. So if I take this product here out, this is what it looks like, just a thin little piece of adhesive here, double-sided, so we're going to have to peel one side, stick it on, peel the other side once it's painted. But I'd be concerned with adhesion on the actual plastic film itself. Now if you put on 1 coat of primer, wait for that to dry, peel it off, you're going to actually peel off that primed surface on the plastic. So kind of defeats the purpose of priming it. We're going to have 1 coat of primer, then a following coat of primer, and then 2 coats of paint. So that's what I would have recommended anyway. But just for demonstration here, we're not even going to prime it because it shouldn't make a difference. The issue would be on adhesion for the actual plastic. Anyway, that's enough talking. Let's put on 3 coats of paint straight onto this and we'll test it out. First thing I need to do is create a hole right here in the center. All right, so I've got my trusty little hammer here. We're just going to put a hole straight into the middle. This is probably going to be about 1 inch, 1.5 inches, so that's within the tolerance of our 2-inch allowance here. So we've got a nice clean hole right there. Now in terms of cleaning it up, this is all they meant. So I'll try and bring this in a little bit closer for you guys. Now cleaning up the hole just basically means any of this loose material here that's sitting out on the side, you don't want that, so you can either peel it back like this, or you can just push it in. So just round that all off, push it on the inside of your wall, and that's now ready to go. If you need to, give it a light sand. If you've got any little flaky bits that you're not happy with, that's looking pretty good there. All right, so I've now got my board standing up, so hopefully that'll show you guys a little bit more of what we're doing here. This is the actual product. You can see here, it's got a film on the back. You simply peel this side here off. You're left with this little patch section here, which is a little round side. Put that straight over the top. We've got a little center dot here, so just try and center that on the actual hole itself. And this is our little pull tab. So we're going to put 1 coat of paint on, Once that's completely dry, we'll come back and we'll peel this side here off. So let's see how this one here comes off, if it's nice and easy. So far so good. Put our little center dot right there. And we're just going to press in all these edges. Make sure we've got full contact. Alright, that's looking pretty good. Ready for our first coat of paint. Alright, now we're going to paint this one here straight over the top. What I'm going to do is I'm using a white color or a very light neutral color here. And the reason why I'm doing that is it doesn't have as much hiding power as a darker color. So what that means is any imperfections that we're going to see here, mainly from the outside rim of that plastic, which is what I'm probably the most concerned about, leveling all of that off. This here is definitely not going to hide it, so we're going to be able to see exactly what it's leaving behind. And it does say on the back of the instructions to put a thick layer, so I'm going to go over this just a little bit more. I just want to make sure that I've got this completely covered so we can see exactly what we're working with. Alright, so now we've got our first coat on. We're just going to let this one here sit until it's dry, and then we can come back and peel back this little tab here. Or actually, I might pick that tab off right now. Might make it a little bit easier because this whole section here is coming off. So I just want to make sure that that doesn't stick down. So we'll come back once it's completely dry, peel that tab off, and we should apparently be ready for our second coat. But if we have a look at the moment, you can see the little outline there of the actual sticker. So I'm very interested to see just how well this one here will cover. So our main issue here, or main concern, or for me anyway, is whether or not this is going to have a flawless finish. And number two, which I'm pretty sure is not going to work anyway, in terms of integrity, so its own strength from that plastic film. Obviously we can't put any screws or have anything bearing any weight on that wall, so probably even 3M stickers might not be the best thing, those 3M hooks to put on top of that. But we're just going to let this one here dry, and I'll see you guys in a bit. So now the first coat's completely dry, this is what it ends up looking like. You can still see the patch, obviously. We still have to peel that outer layer off. But if we look side on, that's where you're going to see any of the imperfections. So you can see there, we can still see the rim around the patch area, which we're about to peel off now. If you were going to be using a primer, I would have put a primer on this first coat that we put here. Once we peel this sticker off, then we put on another coat of primer, and that's going to make sure that everything's actually primed because we're about to peel that layer of paint off. So let's peel this one here off. Hopefully it comes off nice and easy. Surprisingly, that came off pretty good. I was a bit worried that it's going to start ripping or peeling paint anywhere. Didn't bridge completely across, so that's a good thing. So once again, repeat the process. We've got our second coat of paint now straight over the top. So now we've got our second coat on, and this is what it's looking like at the moment. It's still wet. It's actually not too bad. If we have a look at this edge right here, it's actually looking pretty good. The transition over from our patched area or our sticker over to our original bare or painted nail surface is actually looking pretty good. That little top bit there's a little bit of a lip. So we'll see just how well this one here is going to cover. The sides and bottoms actually looking pretty good. That top bit's got a bit of a lip. Side on, it's actually not that bad at the moment. This part here, obviously you can still see almost straight through it. And the reason for that is because it's only had one coat of paint. Remembering we peeled off that sticker, which means we brought it back to a bare condition. First coat of paint always does this. Second coat of paint will cover a lot more of that. So we'll let this one here dry. Repeat the exact same process. Alright, so now we've got our third and apparently final coat. You can still see slightly the patch area right here, but it actually is starting to disappear. So what I might have to do, this is actually disappearing. So what I might do is I'll move my finger all the way up. I'll put a little mark here in the paint, just in case it actually does work. I'll be able to hopefully find that again. So right along here, we'll go all the way to the side somewhere. And I'll try just to leave that little marking there. So hopefully I'll be able to use this as a reference point in case it does completely disappear. It surprisingly shows a bit more on camera than it does using my eyes. But anyway, we'll let this one here dry off, and we might even give it the benefit of the doubt if it's not looking too good and give it a fourth coat. Alright, so our third coat is now completely dry. I'm pretty sure you guys can spot where the hole was. So that's 3 coats at the moment. It is actually looking pretty good at the moment. It's not too bad. Wouldn't surprise me if a couple more coats might actually cover it. Still slight lippage on the top. Sides are looking pretty good. It just seems to be missing. I was trying to say stippling, but some of the stippling is a little bit missing from the center part compared to our actual drywall. And that could be because we've got an extra coat of paint here compared to this side. So what I'm going to do is, it actually looks worse on camera than in real life, that's the honest truth. What I'm going to do is we'll try another coat, dry it off, and if that doesn't work, I'll draw another coat, and I'll keep going until this one here is completely gone, if it's completely gone. Might give it the benefit of the doubt, maybe up to 5 coats of paint. So that's 3 so far. We'll do 2 more or 1 more, and I'll show you guys what it's looking like. So just in case you guys can't see it, it's right here, and this is the 4th coat of paint. Now while I'm looking at it now at the moment, while it's still wet, that is pretty much completely disappeared, which is a good thing and a bad thing because I don't even know where the marking was anymore. I need to try and, I think that's it, and that's it over here. So we'll let this one here dry, check it out again, and then we'll see if it needs another coat. Alright, so our 4th coat is now completely dry. Not sure if you guys can see it there. I can actually just see it right here. Very, very hard to tell. It's a lot more obvious on camera. If we look at it side on, like I said, that's where you're going to see it the most. It's not too bad. We've still got a tiny little lip up here. But while this one here was wet, I honestly couldn't see it anymore. So that tells me that if I did do a couple more coats over the top, it really shows on camera compared to real life. If I did do a couple more coats, I think we'd be able to completely get rid of this. If we have a look as well, the stippling is starting to increase here in the center. There's still a couple patches where if I increase that stippling, it'll blend in a lot better. But it really does show a lot more on camera than it does in real life. So I'm going to give this one here another coat, and if I'm really pushing it and really generous, I might even do a 6th coat or 6th coat. Coat number 5. So this one here is still wet, coat number 5. You can only just make it out, and it's only on the camera. In real life, when I'm looking at it off screen, I can't see it at all. That's the honest truth. In order to find it, I have to actually look on camera to find it. Still wet. Once it dries off, it might show a little bit more, so we'll see how we go. Alright, so the 5th coat of paint is now completely dry. Let's see if you guys can spot it. And I think that lighting right there just gives it away. There's a tiny little ring on the inside. Not sure if you guys caught that or not. But when I look at it by eye compared to the camera, it's honestly completely disappeared. You wouldn't be able to pick where it is. On camera though, it's definitely showing a slight ring around it, and it appears to be right where the hole itself is. We'll give it 1 more coat because I'm feeling a little bit generous today, and we'll see what it can come up with. 6 coats of paint. Alright guys, so 6 coats finally later. I did give it the benefit of the doubt. So at the moment, I'm not sure if you guys can see anything there. If you can't see anything on camera, then you definitely won't see it in real life. And on camera, it actually shows a lot more than it does in real life. I can't see anything, even looking side on. There's absolutely no way to tell that there was a previous hole here. 6 coats of paint is excessive, but I mean, a lot of people out there would rather paint than they would patch. And I would honestly suggest to use this if you're not very good at patching, because patching, you can ruin everything. There's no amount of coats of paint that can hide poor patchwork. This here looks good from far, but is it far from good? Looks aren't everything, and what I mean by that is, as a professional, I couldn't charge somebody to simply slap on a sticker and paint over the top. The reason for that is people would want this back to its original condition and want it to be able to be used for its intended purpose. So that means whether you're mounting something to the wall, you're putting on a 3M hook, whatever it is it going to hold up? And I don't think it would. I'm tempted to scratch it and see if that would actually affect the paint from adhering to the plastic or not. It wouldn't be a fair test to do at the moment because it's dry, but it's not cured, so it means it hasn't gone to its full potential in terms of durability. I'm still really tempted to scratch it. Can you guys hear that? You can hear exactly where it is, and that's what I mean. Good from far, far from good. Looks aren't everything. We've got our line here somewhere that I left previously. And you can hear that right there. It's not very durable at all. If it's somewhere inconspicuous, somewhere where you won't get any kind of traffic or anybody leaning on it, anybody pressing their hands up against it, I think this one here is a good solution, but that would drive me crazy. And so just to prove to you guys that this one here actually was patched and painted over the top, I'm actually gonna try to see how much force it takes. Okay, so that's the hole right here. Let's see how much force it takes. It's holding up okay at the moment. It's not too bad. Anything more than I'd say, man, even a 50-cent piece, you're going to be running it pretty close, because a 20-cent piece you could still put a bit of impact on it and it wouldn't go through. There's no blistering, there's no cracking, no bubbling, nothing seems to be happening at the moment. Let's put a bit more force to it. And remembering the hole was probably about, I think, what did we say, about 2.5 inches or so, or not even, a 1.5 inch. So I might just use one single knuckle. That's holding up pretty good, guys. Honestly, that's a fair bit of pressure that I'm putting on there. It has created a little dent now, which what I'd usually do is just patch over the top, but I wouldn't be putting a sticker over that once again. That's holding up pretty good. It does have a fair bit of dents in there now, but I mean, I could do the same thing on the other side and still cause those dents. I'll show you guys a bit of a close-up. So they're the dents that I've created. These ones here, and this one here is the actual patchwork. So that's surprisingly held up pretty good. So there we have it, guys. That's the Eclipse Repair Patch Kit from DAP. Would you be happy with that? For simply $10, which is a pretty good price for being able to not have to patch the hole at all and just simply paint over the top. As a professional, once again, I wouldn't be using it for the simple reason that nobody can put a screw back through here. In terms of durability, that's holding up pretty good. I'm really tempted to try and put my fist through it, but I mean, that'll go through regardless unless there's a stud behind it. So there we have it, guys. Now you know before you buy the product, is it actually worth it? What's involved? Is it going to have full coverage, strength? That really doesn't want to go through. I'm going to have to try and push it through. So that one there, you can see how much force I put on that on the side, which is the original drywall. I can't even, there we go, I just got it to peel. So we've got that little bit of peeling now. And I pretty much put a hole right through the whole lot. So it's bigger than what it was before. The patch won't work now. If you've got a hole that's larger than a 50-cent piece or anything like this now, make sure you check out my other videos, because I'll show you guys how to do it professionally, nice and easy, DIY from your house using minimal tools and minimal skills. Simply watch the videos and you'll be able to do it from start to finish. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the videos. As always, guys, like, comment and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Bill. Thanks for watching. Billshowto.